without spoiling anything, I gave The Human Target an 8.7 out of 10. And somehow I still finished it annoyed.
Okay, so that's crazy. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. There was no flaws, and they need to make this a TV show, please.
I very much agree with that aspect. Live action,
Yeah, live
by
action.
the way, I think that this works perfectly as live action. But so, and I'm not saying like, the comic book is bad. By the way, an 8.7 is fairly high, just FYI, at least in my rating system. But like the comic is amazing, the art's beautiful. Christopher Chance, who's the main character in this comic, is like way more interesting than I expected. The mystery had me hooked. The whole thing had like the smooth detective type feel to it, that I feel like DC doesn't honestly do too much unless it's, Batman. But I feel like he does that a lot. But I feel like the ending left me sitting there kind of like, okay, I like that, but I'm also not okay with the ending.
I thought the ending was perfect. I thought it was cut and dry, which was very opposite to Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle was a very confusing ending, which I love Mr. Miracle. I give that 9.2. But for me, I thought the pacing was perfect. Every issue had a different character. There was no um, lack of variety. And every character that they had, which was part of the Justice League International, um, they stayed true to that character, like Booster Gold, for example, or Gnort, or Blue Beetle, and it kept the variety so good. Um, I didn't notice any flaws. I thought the writing was perfect. I thought the way he now, if you read this, obviously there's no spoilers yet, but I highly recommend you go read this. But how it's gonna be is there is square boxes for like Christopher Chance's narration in his head, and then obviously you got the regular circular boxes for the dialogue. I thought it worked perfect.
See, for me, like everything was great, but just how it ended is where I was just like, I understand the ending, but I didn't like the ending in a sense. Like emotionally, I was invested, but like morally, I was like, all right, I don't like this. I feel like, which we'll get into what we'll get into that when we get to spoilers. But
I thought
um
it was perfect. I thought the ending was perfect. But we will get into more
yeah.
details later.
But spoiler free. So the setup is very simple. So for the human target, like Christopher Chance, he gets poisoned, has 12 days to live, and he spends those 12 days trying to figure out who killed him before the clock runs out. And I feel like that alone is already a great hook, trying to solve your own murder. Um, but what surprised me is that the mystery is not even like the main reason the book works. I feel like the mystery gets you in it, yes. But Christopher Chance, I feel, is why you like stay for it. Like he is essentially him and the characters are essentially what make the book amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I will say the mystery is very good though. Like, it is I'm genuinely like confused as to who it is.
Yes. So I had an inkling on who it was, and I was right in the end. But um anyways, it's like I was saying before, and I feel like most people like probably they don't care about Christopher Chance because you know no one really knows who
Yeah, I
he
didn't know.
is.
I
You
didn't know
know,
either.
and I feel like Tom King and Greg Smallwood, which they were both like the creators of this, they make him like feel like he matters, like he is like bigger than these other characters in the book. But yeah, and then before we actually get into spoilers, so quick fun fact. So Christopher Chance has actually been around since like the 1970s. But
Oh
for a
wow.
lot of modern readers, obviously this is probably the version that actually sticks, or probably the version that everybody gets introduced to. Because before this, I didn't know who Christopher Chance was. And again, I think it's because again, Tom King, he basically took a character that people barely knew and gave him like one of DC's like cleanest modern noir stories. And that's not that easy to do. But anyways, spoiler free recommendation. So if you like noir murder mysteries, messy relationships, great art, And superhero books that feel more like character dramas, I highly suggest reading this. If you need constant action, then this might not be the book for you because
Let me disagree with you. I think, well, if you're talking about action in terms of fighting, yes, but in terms of like pace, I think it's entertaining every time. I don't think there was a slow issue.
well, it definitely takes its time here and there.
I didn't see it, but if maybe we'll see what people
But
say.
but
Here we
if
go.
you're okay with a slower story that keeps tightening the tension issue by issue, then this is absolutely worth reading. But anyways, that's enough of that because from here on out, it's going to be full spoilers. So if you haven't read The Human Target, go read it first. Because again, we're going to be talking everything that was in this comic.
So I guess we'll start with I'm just going to start with the ending. I thought it was perfect. I thought you knew from the beginning Chris Chance was going to die. Obviously, there's a part of you as you get through the story, you kind of hope like maybe he'll survive. But like, isn't that cliche if he survives and Ice saves him?
That's not the part I was mad, but like I was fine with him dying. Like I feel like you don't get that a lot, you know.
What part were you mad about with?
My part was so Ice. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like she got off way too easy.
How so? I don't think so.
She got off way too easy. I mean, she was essentially being manipulative from the beginning.
And that hurt me when I
And
found out she was lying. That hurt me.
yeah, like their relationship is what makes the story like emotional, obviously. But it also to me is what makes the ending like to me, I feel like this is what it wanted like the ending to make readers feel like, at least to me. But it makes the ending uncomfortable because you kind of know the truth now and you look back at all the scenes differently.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, she was very manipulative. She lied a lot, but like sometimes the end, I know it's hard to say, but sometimes the ends justify the means, you know what I mean? Um, and she didn't forgive herself. And she was even annoyed that Chris was letting her off so easily, you know? So she felt the same way that you did.
Yeah, but it's like I understand why Christopher like makes the choice he makes. Like he doesn't want like he just
He doesn't want
fuck
to
it.
live.
Just yeah, he
Yeah.
just let it be.
Yeah.
But like, Ice poisoned him. She stayed close to him. She let him fall for her. She knew what she did, and by the end, he basically just lets her walk away with murder.
Well, but that was her whole plan, I think, to make him fall for her. I don't think she planned on falling for him, but that happened in the end. But I mean, the whole time. But what you're saying is, yeah, he led him away. Do you remember there was even a whole scene where she even got his gun and pointed it at her head because she wanted punishment for what she did. She knew how bad it was. But she felt the same way as you know?
But did she though?
She
You know,
did.
because she was. If you look at the last few issues, yes. But then if you look back at the other issues, you really, I mean, again, she's just playing him.
I
Like
know.
she doesn't reveal anything until the end, until he actually brings it up and essentially calls her out.
I know. And that hurts a lot. Like
And
that
like
hurts.
the ending was great emotionally. Morally, I'm not shrugging that off.
Okay, morally, I get what you're saying, but why would that lower your score? It's more real, isn't it? Isn't it more like real life?
I just didn't like that. It just got me heated.
I know. Okay,
I
so
might I might
exactly.
ch- I might change my score higher, but I either way I don't think it's to the level of Mr. Miracle or Supergirl. But
But see, it getting you heated is what it wanted. So doesn't that make it a success?
nope, because I'm currently heated. I'm heated talking about it right now. So
Oh, dude, trust me. When he did the reveal, where
I
when he
wanted to
did
go into the book and punch Ice.
Yes, no, I felt like I got cheated on as the reader, you know what I'm saying? My heart sank. I've never felt that in a book before where like it's just a fictional story, but my heart sank when he confronted her that Guy Gardner told me everything about your lies.
What? Christopher, don't be crazy. Guy's dead. No, you asked him to fake his death using his wonderful ring to bend the light into an illusion. Then you told him to hide out for a week. He didn't know why, but that fool genuinely thought you'd go out with him again if he just did what he was told.
You know, I've never felt that before, and that's what they wanted, you know? And yeah, yeah, you got heated. You're supposed to get heated.
Yeah. And like understanding Ice does not mean excusing Ice. Okay.
Okay.
And like, she could be sad, complicated, charming, scared, emotionally trapped, whatever, but she can still be wrong.
No, and she is wrong.
And again, I feel like that's what makes the ending work. The book doesn't give you like a clean villain.
Okay.
It gives you somebody you understand, and then it kind of forces you to sit with the fact that understanding someone does not magically erase what they did.
So, okay, but so you admit it's a good ending, correct?
Yeah, I'm fine with the ending. It's just I'm currently heated. So this might go upwards again.
Okay, so but
right now I'm just gonna stay at an 8.7. Okay, you're not changing my mind because me and Ice I want to duke it out with her.
Okay, so besides the ending, what else lowered your score?
Pacing. It was
Really?
slow intentionally, but there were some moments where I feel like it dragged a little too much, or it there was, I guess, too long of like dialogues and stuff like that, where I guess it could have been a little bit shorter or whatnot, or got a little fancier with the dialogue when it
Dude,
didn't necessarily need to.
I completely disagree. I thought every word in there, and I might be going over the top, but I thought every word in there was perfectly placed. And I thought every single issue had variety. It was different. There was never a point where I wanted to put the book down. There's been points, even as much as I love Mr. Miracle, there was a few issues in the middle where I was like, let me just push through this. It's a little slow if I'm being hypercritical. But and then there's many other books I've read where I've had to really push through. Um, but there was not a single point in this where I had to push through. It was just I wanted to keep reading. For example, the Batman issue. I think that was issue 10. Did you find that slow?
No, I just found that very, very interesting.
I thought it was so good. Like you could argue that was slow, but it wasn't. It was so tense the whole time.
Yeah.
And then in the end, when he goes, damn, so Batman's not the only reason Batman isn't here is because he knows Guy Gardner's
still alive. I'm like,
he saw through the video and checked it out and assumed the JLI were up to their usual nonsense and decided not to interfere. He left us alone because he figured out Guy Gardner is still alive.
Dude.
Which, by the way, again, spoiler alert, but in the book, Ice supposedly kills Guy Gardner, which when I read that, dude, I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
I was like, wait a goddamn minute. I'm like, what is going on? And then obviously as more time went, I'm like, my heart, like, even though Guy was being a complete and utter dick and asshole throughout the whole thing,
I was relieved.
I was very relieved that he didn't actually die, because I don't know what it is. Like, Guy is a very recognizable character in DC. So like just seeing him die is kind of like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That kind of hurt.
I was more so relieved that Chris Chance and Ice weren't murderers. Well, Chris Chance is a murderer, but like more so Ice. Like they didn't actually
just like chill and be like, oh cool, we just killed Guy, we're just gonna go about our life. Which,
exactly.
That's another point where I was like fucking heated with both of them. I was like, these motherfuckers, they just killed Guy and they just went about their days. I'm like, and like, I was definitely a little more pissed at Ice too, because they were members together and they used to also be together at one point.
Yeah.
So her just going about it like nothing, I was like, what the hell? But then obviously she was in on it. So
I felt the exact same. And then, so a couple issues after that, you find out, or you supposedly find out, that it's Guy who tried to poison Lex. I believed it at the time, and I was like, why didn't I see that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was like when they say like Guy, I was just like, and they were just like case closed. I was just like, oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. And then I was just like, yeah, I believe it. But then as time kept going, and then obviously we find out that Guy's still alive, I'm like, okay, now I know more than it was Ice that ended up being the killer. Like I already had an inkling at the beginning that it was gonna be Ice all the way until that whole Guy Gardner shit happened. And then once he came back, I was like, okay, yeah, it was Ice.
I did. There was moments I thought it was ice. There's moments I thought it was fire. But when it said Guy Gardner was alive, I still didn't know it was ice until like Chance confronted her, and I was like, and I felt so stupid again. Like the first
Man,
time
you're
when it said Guy.
slow as fuck.
No, dude, I felt stupid twice, right? Because when it said Guy Gardner was it, I was like, I'm so stupid. How did I not see that? And then it said it wasn't Guy Gardner's eyes, and I was like, I'm so stupid. How didn't I see that? Like it was twice.
It's like,
But
God damn it, got me
yeah,
again. And
like
that's the thing. I think the story gets you really hooked, dude, because you want to
yeah,
find out, okay, who did it? Because
yeah,
again, you're putting all these like beloved characters from DC. Like you have Batman, who again, he never really shows up in the book. He's just his
his
presence
presence. Yeah,
is what kind of does it, that he makes him paranoid enough to get to the point where he essentially solves it by himself,
yeah,
being
exactly.
like, oh shit, okay, maybe this is why he's not coming back for me, is because Gardner's still alive.
To me, that Batman issue, which was issue 9, was the best. 10 was really good too. It's hard to say which one's the best, but I do think issue 9 with Batman was the best.
So yeah, and again, I thought the best issue was going to be when Ice kills Guy Gardner, because it just left like a major shock.
Yeah,
But then the Batman issue happened, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is kind of cool. Like now he's getting into like
his
Batman is
head.
essentially getting,
Yeah,
he's getting into his head, and like he's slowly deducing, just like, fuck, why is Batman not here? Like he should have already known this. He's like the greatest detective ever. And then it was just amazing.
it really was. Um, Now, as it starts, pretty much every single issue is like a different superhero. You got a full issue with Booster Gold, full issue Martian Manor, Martian Manhunter, Blue Beetle, etc. So of when it showed the picture of all the Justice League International, I thought there would be a issue with every single one of them because there's 12 of them, and there almost was, except for there was Red Rocket Brigade as well. The only one that wasn't was
Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle, which I was really hoping there would be
I
an
know. I
issue
was just
with
like,
him.
ooh, okay, what are they gonna do
Yeah.
with him? And technically Batman, because Batman never actually shows up.
Technically, but I still count that because you could feel him there.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping for a Mr. Miracle issue, and then obviously these two as well. Who are they, Miguel?
Oh, Captain Atom, and then I believe that is Black Canary. But I was about to say I think that's Black Canary, but in the comments you can let us know like if we're wrong or if that's another character that I may not just recognize off the top of my head.
Okay, I was hoping they'd be in it too, just so I could find out more about their characters because I knew nothing about Red Rocket Brigade,
Yeah.
um, or Gnort, which I think you knew about Gnort, but I didn't.
Gnort, that was a fun issue.
It was I love that one. That one was so good as well. So different. I'm telling you, every issue was a different feeling.
Yeah. And while we're talking about Gnort, I don't know, however you say it. I just like because like he's just like you have this serious tone throughout, like for the majority of the comic,
Yeah.
but then you have Nort, and he kind of reminds you just like, okay, yeah, this is like a noir murder mystery type deal, but it's still kind of happening in a universe where there's like a goofy Green Lantern dog man that exists.
Yeah.
And it kind of had like that nice little balance of like still being funny, but not missing the whole point of the comic.
Right. And there were some genuinely funny bits because you know the way sometimes they try to be funny and it's like I can acknowledge that's funny, but I didn't laugh. But
Yeah.
this one was like I I did chuckle, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it gets you that emotionally invested, I guess.
Yeah. And then the other issue I wanted to talk about, because it's probably the most confusing issue, is talking about my boy Martian Manhunter.
Yes, that was confusing, but I figured it out by flipping back and forth pages.
Yeah, it gets really weird in like a good way, because like you start off and you're kind of like, okay, what the hell's going on here?
Hmm.
Like, are we doing flashbacks, stuff like this? And
Yeah.
then so for me, then I realized I was like, oh, it's Martian Manhunter. Like he's a psychic. He can get into people's minds. Like this is essentially Martian Manhunter digging into Christopher's brain while also Christopher trying to break through to Martian Manhunter's mind to find out any little bit that we can, which he in fact does. He ends up finding that Manhunter and Fire had like a
Oh
little
yeah.
we're having like little flings and stuff, which very surprising because that would mean that Martian Manhunter is a masochist because
Yeah.
his weakness is fire for those that don't know, which I found very ironic. Um, but yeah, it's just a very trippy issue, um, which I just enjoyed because again, it just takes you out of this like noir murder mystery type deal and just kind of gives a little bit extra to the book, kind of again
Yeah.
with like Nort.
Or even Booster Gold as well. He was I felt he was a bit
Yeah.
of a comic relief.
Or hell, even Ted Cord, Blue Beetle. Like
He
the
was
way he talked and like kept like repeating this, like, oh well, you wouldn't be asking this if you like already knew this and like all this stuff. And
That's true. No, I did like that. That was a very different issue because he was very like thinking one step ahead, and it made you it was very I don't know, intelligent, I guess, which he is an intelligent character.
yeah. And again, I mean, but really you couldn't really do this whole book without again Ice and Christopher. I mean, they're the main core of this comic.
Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty much a obviously it's a murder mystery, but it's also a romance as well.
yeah. Like, and I feel like every quiet moment, and especially like after you figure out who the killer is and everything, I feel like every little quiet moment becomes heavier, like looking back at like different pages. And I feel like every romantic moment becomes even more complicated. Um, and then every time Chance lets his guard down, you're thinking, man, she knows. And like
Yeah.
you think about it, and it's like that's brutal. Like it's not romantic in a normal way.
Oh,
It's
it's
it's it's
deceptive.
it's tragic and like
It is
manipulative,
tragic. Yeah.
sad, and
I guess
even though I'm pissed at her, it's weirdly like beautiful all at once.
weirdly beautiful. That's a great point. And I think I guess when you put it that way, and I haven't read it back yet, but this would be one of those books you read back and it's a completely different
You
perspective.
yeah, you would essentially have a different perspective and just be like, man, this is so fucked.
It's so fucked. It's so tragic. Um, man, dude, to me, dude, I've never read anything better than this. Maybe, okay, in comics, it's my favorite comic.
I'm still not there yet, but again, I will see how I feel when I let
Your emotions go.
my emotions go from Ice.
But look at all the different like emotions it brings you. Look at all the different perspectives, tragedies, like, like it's so multi-layered, is it not?
It is. That it is. I'll give you that. And it's the same like with Mr. Miracle, I was a little lower, but the more time I spent with it, the higher I got because I
Yeah.
realized it was an amazing book.
Um, did you know anything about Red Rocket Brigade before this
I
comic?
knew of his character, but I did not know much of him.
So,
Aside from like occasional, like I'm pretty sure he's appeared in like the Justice League like animated series and stuff like that. And that's
okay.
about where I know him from.
Yeah, I never knew him before this, but I was translating the Russian because obviously in that issue it had a bit of Russian. And you know the scene where he's falling out of the sky in particular?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever look up that Russian? Or you
I did
just
I did not know. I was just like, I'm like, it's whatever, I guess.
Well, I looked it up because I was just curious because I was dying to know. And it was pretty philosophical. He was saying, it translates to, I'll put up the translation right here, but it says, all income comes in time for those who know how to wait. There is no stronger, there's no stronger. than these two warriors, patience and time. And that's like the direct translation, but you can probably translate it to something along like there's no stronger warriors than patience and time, you know.
Yeah.
And all good comes to those who wait.
Also, since I'm still in my emotions, I just wanted to bring up the fact that when Martian Manhunter was trying to figure out what happened to Christopher Chance and Ice intervened, and she was just like, actually, you don't want to do that. I'll take care of it unless you want people finding out about, I can't remember what it was, about all this. And then she essentially, anything that comes pertains to that investigation comes to me. And that just made me even more pissed, dude, because I'm just like, why are you like, you wanted, like, you felt so bad that like you pointed a gun at your head, but now you're like not wanting to face the
Well,
consequences.
well, you got to remember, first of all, it was almost a month later when that happened, and then
I don't
second,
care.
but also she hadn't completed the favor that Chris Chance had asked because her favor was to kill poison Lex Luthor, and she hadn't done that at that point. And I believe that was day 22 when Martian Manhunter confronted her, and it wasn't until day like 79, I believe. I'll correct it here if I'm wrong, but it wasn't until then that she completed it. So she kind of had to do that for Chris Chance, not even for her, you know?
I know. Let's still do it. I'm in my emotions. I'll keep saying that over and over again. But I will say there was a very emotional moment. It was when obviously it was Christopher Chance's last few days, and they were him and Ice were in the beach. I can't remember what issue specifically or what page, but they're in the beach, and there she's laying on his chest while they're on the ice
On the ice.
island that
Yeah.
she made, and she was saying like, I'll miss you, and then he said just like, I I won't miss you because I won't be here.
That
And then I
was
was like, oh damn. And then obviously the next panel after that is Ice, like her like tears rolling down, and like that's where like I felt like, yeah, she was her love was like,
it was real.
obviously it was real,
I
but
think
still.
I think also another point where it showed her love was real was when she when Guy Gardner came after Chris Chance died, she didn't know where to spread the ashes in the ocean or the
Oh,
beach. And then she's
yes.
like, "This is actually perfect," and smacked the bottle over his head and spread the ashes. So it was obviously metaphorical, as like Chris Chance got the last punch on Guy
Yeah.
Gardner.
I was about to say I did enjoy that aspect of it. But I don't actually know. So with because I know you got both volumes. I got the hardcover edition, the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
Did your comes with an extra issue? Because I had 13
No,
issues.
it did not come with that extra issue. What was that issue about?
Okay. So for those that have only read the two volumes, didn't get the deluxe. So the last issue was essentially um before Ice actually went to Christopher Chance to like stay with him and like kind of keep an eye on him, she went to all the JLI members, and she essentially asked them
Yeah.
what was their first encounter with Chance. So I think you would have liked it because it got to dive in a little
Yeah.
bit deeper.
I would have really
But
liked that.
yeah, it essentially just gave Ice more perspective on the kind of person that Chance is before she went up to him to follow him around and ultimately like fall in love and all that. Which also, by the way, I don't think we ever mentioned, but like each character, especially like Guy, Fire, and Ice, have their reasons for wanting to kill Lex Luthor. Um, because what was it, Guy? Ice Ice died because Luthor called Overmaster. Overmaster killed Ice, so Guy was pissed and he had a reason for killing Lex.
But
And
weren't they?
Fire and Ice were besties, so she was very much pissed when
Yeah.
she found out that Luthor was the one that called Overmaster, who ended up killing Ice.
Yeah.
And obviously
But
Ice, died and then came back, and she was pissed about the guy who orchestrated her murder.
and by the way, Ice dying. Do you know what comic that's referencing?
That
Is
I
that?
do. That I do not. That would have to be like something I'd probably have to look into later on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll cut that part. I was just curious if you knew.
Oh,
Yeah.
um, but all right. quick little segment. Well, who do you think was the messiest JLI member in the book?
In this book, oh, it's got to be Guy Gardner, right? Or you could argue it's Martian Manhunter.
See, I don't
Um,
know because like Guy is like loud messy, right?
yeah, and
Um,
stupid. He's very
yeah.
stupid.
Manhunter is kind of more mind game messy and
But he's
obviously
also doing some crazy shit,
yeah, doing
paying
some
for
crazy.
sex.
But you know, like Ice is criminally messy. And
Yeah, but
we're not even gonna put Nort in that because Nort's Nort.
he's funny. Um, I wouldn't think Ice is the messiest. I think she had a whole reason. I think she's very aware of what she's doing. She's very guilty. Whereas Martian Manhunters is like you have no need to like that one's really messy. It kind of makes you respect Martian Manhunter less, that he's paying for sex. He's supposed to be a very well-respected character,
I
you
don't think
know?
he's paying for sex. I think they were just having a fling, and she asked for money for like a thing or something.
Really, I got the entire. I picked up that he was paying for it, but either way, she wasn't. It didn't seem like she was into it. No.
That I can't remember. I just
Huh.
I just interpreted as they were having like a little fling, and then she was just like, "Hey, by the way, could I borrow some money for like this or whatnot?" But to me, I think it has to be Guy because like the dude would literally just not leave Christopher alone, and he would just keep it would not leave Ice alone either. Like he just kept making things even messier and messier and messier.
He did, but didn't we find out that the whole reason he came to attack Chris Chance that one day was because Ice told him to?
Yes, but the other times that was all him.
Was it all him the other times?
Maybe I don't know. They never
No,
actually
you're probably
say.
right. They never actually say, but yeah,
They
but I
never
think I
actually
think you are
say
right.
this whole thing was orchestrated, or if it was just that one
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, I suppose it's got to be him then.
But actually, I have another little thing. So hot take. I think the Human Target is a better character study than a lot of Batman books.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I need to read more Batman books. I've read
I
a
feel
few,
like
but
that's gonna annoy some people, but I said it. I said what I said, and I'm gonna stick to it.
yeah, I think I got to agree. He knows when to talk, when not to talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's he feels very intelligent. There's a lot of stories that tell you the character's intelligent, but you don't feel it. And this one, they don't tell you he's intelligent. They even say it in the Batman issue that there is someone better than him, and it's Batman. But you feel just because he knows that, and just because he's having all these thoughts in his head, that he is a better character study.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And just FYI, I'm not saying like Christopher Chance is better than like Batman. I'm saying the book uses like the mystery to reveal characters
Better.
better than a
Yeah.
lot of Batman stories do. Because like the case is not like just like a puzzle, it's exposing everybody. Like the mystery like pulls all the ugly stuff out of
Yeah.
everybody, and you kind of learn everybody's dark little secrets.
And it's also like because he's not even trying so much because he doesn't care about life, it's almost easy to him. Well, I think he even says at one point it's easy to him.
Yeah. But so biggest question for you is ending with this. Do you think Christopher Chance found peace, or do you think he just gave up in the end?
I think
A loaded question, right?
yeah, because in one hand, he got what he wanted. He wanted to die, and I guess when you're dead, you are at peace technically. But then on the other hand, he admitted he was scared to die. He was terrified, even though the whole time that is the only thing he didn't want is to be scared at death.
Yeah.
But I think yes, he did because him being scared made him forgive his dad for being scared at his death. Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
his whole life, the one thing he wasn't at peace with was his whole dad being begging for his life. But then at the
Mm-hmm.
very end, he realized, oh, I get why he begged for his life, not for him, but for me, the same way I want to live for Ice, even though he chose not to, because it was his choice. But I think that was him finding peace.
Okay. But yeah, overall, so to me, the Human Target, after talking about it and like seeing how invested I was, will go a 9 out of 10 for me.
I still think that's criminally low. You know, it's not criminally low. I'm over exaggerating. Maybe
I'm like,
I'm
a 9 out of 10 is pretty good.
it is
Okay.
it is really good. I'm giving it a 9.5. I'm sticking with that. Um I'm overrating it, but it it's the best. It's my favorite. It's the best comic I've ever read.
Okay. All right. I mean, who knows? Maybe future reads, future pods will find a new better comic. Who knows?
I heard a lot of recommendations out there about, Strange Adventures or The Long Halloween or Court of Owls.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, final read. It's a gorgeous noir mystery about a dying man who's trying to solve his own murder, only to realize that the truth might hurt more than death itself. So we got to ask, did Christopher Chance find peace, or do you think Ice actually ended up getting away with murder? I need to know your thoughts, because from the sounds of it, looks like we disagree.
wait, we as a me and you?
Yeah, because I feel like you're not crashing out as much as I did, or
No,
you're not
I'm
crashing
not.
out as much as you should be crashing out, like I did.
No, I think you're wrong. I think we'll see. But um
But anyways, that's it for us, guys. Again, let us know your thoughts down in the comment section if you enjoyed this. Please give us a follow, like, and all that, and then stay tuned for what we got coming next week.